Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So the event Grove of the Titans has just started, and what I want to do in today's episode is talk about some of the deck ideas I have for this event. But before we do that, I want to also talk about some of the changes in this event that are very significant. The first one is the buff to the event deck. So previously you needed 6 Power Gen 4s in order to truly unlock the potential for the Master Collection and the event card. They've dropped that requirement now down to 4 Power Gen 4s, which opens up the overall deck building as well for this event. So that's a really good change. And the second one is the dispel rate for this event. So it used to be a lot tougher, where you only had a maximum possibility of 60% dispel rate if you had one of the 6-star cards that could counter the boss. It goes up to 83% if you bring an additional one, and so forth. But what they've done in this particular event is that they've dropped the debuff level for the bosses. So as long as you have at least one card that is 6 stars that has the correct counter, you're going to have a 100% dispel rate. So it's guaranteed to activate and you're not going to get hit by the debuff. So these are both significant changes to this event. And so we're going to take a look and see how that changes our gameplay. But before we do that too, I want to talk about the investment for this event. So I've spent about 6,700 gems for the 2 packs here. Got really lucky and got the ultra rare card on tier 1. So I'm still trying to level her up right now. But unfortunately, bought up to tier 5 of the main pack, and the runes just didn't fall the way I was hoping for. So I'm gonna give up on this Master Collection card because it's just not worth it for me to chase at, to keep chasing for this. So let's go ahead and talk about the other cards here, because I'm okay with it because I have other decks that are just as powerful. Or not as powerful, but it can do just as well. And so let's go ahead and give this a try. So we're actually gonna go against Keda using this deck here that uses 3 of the support cards and 1 of the event card, and I'm bringing in a Guru Pachycept for heal. And so let's see how this actually works out. So this is just using 3 support cards and 1 event card, and not really worry about powering up the event card using 4 Power Gen 4s. So with this particular setup, you're going to have the heal from Pachycept, which is really good. And I was able to take advantage of the God Relic as well to get some additional gems in the beginning. But with this particular setup, I think that the main thing here is I don't really have any need to wait for intensity to go too high, because I'm not really waiting to create more power gems. And so I can actually power up everybody right now, and then get a close to full board of earth gems, and I can even use Pachycept to fill up the board, and then basically do just power up the event card for some additional bonus damage here. And you can see that I was able to deal already 4 billion damage just from that one hit in a couple of turns. And now, so all I have to do is sort of rinse and repeat and do a couple more turns, and I'll be able to take down Keda with no problem. So let's just wait a couple more, and then it looks like, so I have 2 Power Gen 4s there, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to power everything up despite my it would have been really cool, because right now I have 3 Power Gen 4s, but that's okay. I think, let's just go ahead and activate everything, and then we should be able to do enough damage on this turn. If not, we have 1 more turn to take care of that. And so we have 1 point, so that's another 4 billion there. So one more, basically just 1 more attack. So 2 more turns and we should be good to go. And so the nice thing about running the 3 support cards here is that you're never going to run out of gems. And so you're always going to be close to having a full board of gems, which is really nice. And so that, even if you can't fully power up your cards, you can still do some good damage there. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we will activate both skills. And then we'll be able to take down Keda there. So this is, using just the support card and the event card. Now, I brought in Guru Pachycept as a healer mainly because I don't have any other heals in this particular deck, and it's working out really well. So this is definitely a very viable option for you. And then the second deck that I'm using actually takes advantage of the Mystic deck. So let's talk about this one. So this is one where I am actually going to be powering up the event deck using 4 Power Gem 4s. You notice that I am only using this, and I don't have him as a leader because he only powers up guild versus guild situations, so it doesn't make sense for him to be a leader there. But because I have 4 of the Mystic cards in here, it actually works out well so that I can use this deck as is without too much worry. So for me, I only have 1 relic, and so with 2 of the support cards plus 1 relic, I'm getting 15 intensity every turn. So I'm waiting until I can get to 100 intensity so I can generate 4 Power Gen 4s. And so what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and just wait a couple more turns here. And once it hits over 100% intensity, 100 intensity, I'm actually going to use 1 turn as well just to activate the skills of Ophrah. So what Ophrah will do is, with her skills, I'm going to be able to get close to a full board of Earth Gems as well, so that I can deal more damage. Right? So this next turn, I'm going to activate Ophrah, and then let's go ahead and do a Earth Gem match, followed by the 2 Runes, and then also the event card. So you can see there, I was able to power up everything there, and let's go ahead and match everything and see how much damage we're able to deal with this particular setup. And so right there, I'm able to deal 5.5 billion damage there. It's very consistent there. So that was a pretty good deck as well. Now, not everybody may have that particular option, so I think that the first deck they showed actually is a much more realistic team to have, and you can see my arcane hangers are only level 1 there, so I can definitely awaken them and get them. These are only cards I got just from playing through the event itself. I'm going to show this one a little bit later. I think this is actually a lot of fun. So this was the Valentine's Day deck. Some of you have heard me say this, but the Dust Shop basically has stopped, the heroes that you can get from the Dust Shop are up to this particular event. And so that's the event I was talking about. I'll use this one here. So I'm also going to try and take advantage of Rune, the Oryctes. So he can actually boost himself. And so now this one doesn't have a heal, so I don't want to go up against Kata necessarily just yet, because I also don't have any cards that can create power gems, but this is also a relatively easy deck to use. So let's try this one. So it's an interesting setup. I'm using 2 different card types in here, but Rowan's battle skill will actually boost himself, and the higher the intensity for demigods, the higher his damage is going to be. And given his current event bonus and everything, he can actually deal significant damage as well. And so the goal here is to just try and see. Let's raise the intensity to maybe about 75 or 85, and then let's go ahead and activate everything and see how it goes. But first, let's go ahead and activate these 2. So this plays just like Ophrah, where by activating her skills first, you're going to get more power, more Earth Gems, and then activate all of the skills now. And then what we'll do is we will go ahead and do a Power Gem swap, and then we will see how much damage we are able to deal here. And so you should see that even though Rowan isn't really powered by Hanga, because of the attack boost, he's also holding his own very well. So there's another deck here that if you have Rowan, you can use him in that situation. And I think if you have more of him, you can also have him as a leader and just use the fact that you can get boosts for the attack to really do a nice amount of damage. Now the last deck I'm going to show here, if you have these cards, I think it's just fun to try out. This is a Earth Fable card, and I'm going to use I'm really going to be using Venera as the main nuke damage dealer, and I'm going to show you how this particular setup works. So this one is actually pretty easy to play because all you have to do is make sure that you get enough Earth Gems to power up the battle skill, and then you could basically then power everything. So intensity requirement is really for the nuke damage, but for this particular boss, it's not that not that bad if you don't have a very high intensity count. So we just need one more Earth Gem match, and then we can see how this goes. All right, so we'll go ahead and do a match here. And then next turn, we'll be able to do the gem match. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to try and create some power gems. Now, what's interesting with this particular deck, you're actually going to have very good survivability because of the fact that you're going to be creating all of these heart gems. And Venera actually does nuke damage based on the number of heart gems out on the board. And so you can sort of see just how much damage she's able to deal with that one attack, because she attacks for every, I believe, 3 or 5 heart gems. And so you can see the first attack there, she's able to deal some pretty good nuke damage. And after creating the heart gems, these Voluptas also will create Earth Gems to help you, basically fill up the battle skill gauge again. And so just one more turn now for cooldown. So there's a 3-turn cooldown. So at the end of this, I'm going to go ahead and activate everything. You can just see the boss getting nuked down. So it's not the most powerful deck at least compared to the current decks, but I think it's just fun to just see the number of times it actually tries to nuke down the boss. And so this deck, I know that probably not a lot of you will have it, but I thought it was a lot of fun to show. Now, finally, what I tried out was the last event deck using Lalo. This particular deck still deals a ton of nuke damage. I tried this out against a Eternal boss, and I'm still able to deal billions of damage using this. Now, it's not going to be a deck that you'll use against others in solo boss fights, just because it's a little slow to build up, and everyone else will be able to take down the boss by the time you deal enough damage there. So this is really, I think, a good option for your own boss or a boss within the guild. So give this a try if you have this team, and if you don't have an event deck for this particular Earth team, it's actually something to try as well. So that's all for this episode. I have 4 different decks here. I don't actually have the full event deck that I'm showing, but I think that the point here is I'm showing sort of the semi deck. I don't have the full deck, but the only other option would have been to put in an ultra rare, but I've sort of shown the sort of how that works by using Rune there. So in the upcoming episode, I will probably show what I have using the ultra rare, 1 event card, and the support cards for maximum potential. But hopefully what I've shown here is helpful for the rest of the event for you as well. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.